Now, our specialist, Tuesday specialist today for technology and digital is Professor Kevin Curran, who's, of course, Professor of, remind me, Kevin? Cybersecurity, the Ulster University at McGee. Humble apologies, Kevin. Right, listen, I want to talk about that box in the attic in a wee second. But firstly, look, you're a dad, you've talked about this in terms of mobile-free schools laws. That's coming up more and more, Kevin. I can see the sense of it, but do you think Wayne's will?
It's a difficult one. I mean, what parent doesn't want their kid to basically get up in the morning, go to school, work hard all day, not ever use the internet, go home and do the homework and go to bed? But that's not living in the real world, possibly. So it's whether or not we have. The government has been trying to bring in legislation. In Northern Ireland, they brought it in, but it's guidance. It's not enforceable by law, because they realise that schools are doing their own thing when it comes to policing smartphone use among young people. So,
and I think boards of governors can largely, prescribe the culture of any school. They're in charge, essentially.
Yeah, and by law they actually have a mandate to do that, actually, to protect children in some cases. So the options really are prevent children from bringing to school altogether, their mobile to school at all. Also then allow them to bring a mobile to school, but it's put into a safe locker or these Ziploc bags you can get now, or it's not even Ziplocked, somewhere which is stored away until the end of the day. Or else, again, one where you're allowed to bring your mobile to school, but you turn it off or you turn it into silent mode and you put it in your bag and you don't use it yourself, whatever else. Or also you can allow maybe to use it at lunchtime, really. So it's kind of an extreme of no mobile to some mobile use. But again, it's a difficult one to enforce again, because even when it comes to stopping a kid bringing a mobile phone to school, they're going to sneak a phone in. Every one of the people who want to, every one of those young boys really will sneak a phone in. So bringing a phone in, I put it into a locker box or into a Ziploc bag. There you go. I bring in my dummy phone. I bring in, the one that was given to me. And every teenager has 2, 3. They have phones left, right, and centre. You can buy. So they're going to put in a dummy phone, and hence they still have it. So really it comes down to maybe, policing. I mean, it's very hard to get technology. You could make your school like a Faraday cage. You could easily block signals again, but that could be dangerous. Not dangerous, but I mean that will have consequences, and of course that's got cost.
A lot of schools depend
there is technology where you could buzz around a room, where you can even do with an iPhone. You can turn on AirDrop in any room, and you can tell how many Bluetooth phones are.
But there's so much learning to be had. I guess that's we didn't have. I went to college in Lurgan, Kevin, and half the times you just share the book, because there was only books and actual page books, history books. And I mean, the supply of information in that sense was awful. But they're so lucky these days that it's all the drop of a hat. 2 buttons and you can understand the Holy Roman Empire or whatever it is. All knowledge is there to be had.
It is, and most reasonable people would not dispute that young people really shouldn't be using a phone during school, really, and that it's a distraction, and it's just not good for them, really. It's not less. But it's whether or not we're letting the big tech companies off the hook, because they're making large amounts of profit. So it might be better fought through regulation, tighter regulation again, and the online safety bill and other things, rather than, in this case, targeting the young people who generally are just such a part. I mean, primary schools should be treated differently than secondary schools, of course. Really, why did your 4-year-old, 5-year-old really need them?
And I suppose it's about the quality of the relationship or the money in the household. I mean, if you haven't got the fancy phone in the first place, well, the debate is dealt with. An interesting one. Kevin, I love this. That box full of wires you've kept hidden up in the attic for you. I have 2 boxes of that, because I think there will come a day when I need one particular wire, and it will have been up there since 1941, and you go, yes, it'll cost £3 in the shop. But we've all got, I bet you half of them out there have got that box in the attic, and it could be valuable.
Exactly. The campaign group Recycle Your Electrics says that there is 1.3 billion unused or binned electricals in our houses, and including 627 million cables. And of course, these cables can contain up to 20% copper. And of course, this is very useful for building wind turbines, and as well as solar panels and electric vehicles. This copper.
So, what should we do? I mean, if there was a guy came around the doors and said, right, I'll give you 60 quid for your cables, I'd probably go, surely. But what? How do you do it then?
Yeah, no, there is no market, really. But actually, of course, you can go and recycle over in, out the Licky Road or Pennyburn and these places. But actually, places you wouldn't have thought of, like Boots, Argos, Pound Savers, a lot of shops, especially nearly all the Crescent Link shops, they actually have a place for you to recycle batteries and components like cables as well, so you can drop them off there. So these places where you would not have thought of actually shops again, because it can help to, especially if you are someone who, cares about the environment as well. This is an easy way to help, and we hope that these go back to somewhere where the copper is actually.
Well, if anybody knows more about that in terms of where you can actually, there used to be a place out in Campsie. I remember I had one of the old copper boilers, but I had to get a new one in, and I got 120 quid or something from the old copper boiler. I was the happiest man in Derry. So there's £266 million of copper, folks, in that box, collectively across the UK. And maybe somebody will direct us as to who would maybe take those cables, or maybe as you say, Kevin, maybe the recycling centres and all the rest. Right, a wee quick word about Elon Musk. I think you've changed your mind about him. But when I saw those robots, everybody's seen them this week, they're kicking football and all the rest, and this all. But I thought, that's like a film. And now the film director said, yeah, my film.
Yeah, Elon Musk, as well as unveiling two robotic cars during the week, he also kind of gave the public another look at the Optimus robots, which are androgynous, really. They're like
the Star Wars AI robots.
Exactly, and there's been a lot of social media posts where people have been interacting with them, and they really spoke back to them like humans. Now, there is a lot of cynicism that actually it wasn't, and I kind of go with the fact that actually the replies were coming from people within the call center, which is fine, because he's, it's not as if he's trying to sell them right tomorrow, but I think a lot of it was smoke and mirrors.
And a lot of the iRobot director has been saying, hey Elon, can I have my designs back, please? He's saying that he's pinched his idea. Kevin, I wish we had longer today. Good crack, but I'm thinking about that box up in the attic. Fabulous. Right, in 10 minutes, folks, that skeletal looking building on Waterloo Street, what's going to happen there? Former Mayor John Boyle on that, and a wee look back at yesterday's marvellous session we had with the fabulous Henry Garn. So back in 10 minutes. It's 1 o'clock.
On BBC Sounds, your radio, TV and smart speaker, this is The Northwest at 1 on BBC Radio Foyle.
It's 1 o'clock, and with the BBC News, I'm Dean McLaughlin.